How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Let's Play Devil May Cry 2. We hit a real high note with Devil May Cry 1, and the best of the series, the cream of the crop, is yet to come. That's still ahead of us. But in between, we've got to go through Devil May Cry 2. And this is not a very good game. It's not very good. But why tell you when I can just show you? Let's get this show on the road.
Devil May Cry 2.
Okay, so the opening montage is pretty good. It really gives you the impression that this is going to be a pretty hype game. And to the game's credit, it does get off on a pretty good foot. It starts off pretty decently, I'll give it that much. We're going to go ahead and hit a new game, though.
In a time long since past, in an age of darkness, when the earth was overrun with demons and humans were powerless under their rule, humanity's hope lived in a demon named Sparda. With a spirit unlike any other, and wielding the sword that bore his own name, Sparda eradicated the demons. And now, the legend of Sparda has been inherited by his son, the demon slayer, Dante.
You called?
Till next time, son of Sparda.
That was a pretty nothing cutscene. Just a little introduction to Lucia, we'll learn more about later, and a little bit of setup. By the way, you can unlock Lucia by completing the game as Dante. She has her own missions, a few unique bosses. I'm not replaying the game as Lucia just for those few bits, though. Anyway, on to mission 1. And now we get control of Dante for the first time in the game, with a slightly touched up control scheme. So we still have our shoot button, that's the same as before, X is jump, same as before, except now we start off with the air hike. We have a dedicated roll button now. You had to be locked on to do that before. We have our standard combo. It's a little bit different now. We still get high time now, which is the launcher. We still have helm breaker. And we get that little weird flippy air combo kind of thing while holding lock on. We have our little, it's not quite acid rain, it's like a little acid rain light. The firing downwards from the air. Red orbs are still our currency that we'll be using to upgrade Ebony and Ivory, the guns, and Rebellion, our sword. We also have that now! Oh, that's so sick! This little wall flip. Run up the wall and bounce off it. That blew my mind when I was a kid. It gave me such a good, strong first impression of Devil May Cry 2. It's not very useful, but it is rad. I love that. I would like to say it's an example of style over substance, but an ideal character action game would have both in abundance, and this game doesn't actually have much of either. There we get 1/4 of a blue orb. We get a blue orb fragment. If we complete a blue orb by collecting 4 of them, we will get an upgrade for our health. We still haven't seen that part of the UI yet, though. These are going to be some, frequently recurring enemies. They're essentially the most basic, the most standard, the most vanilla enemy in the game. Our equivalent to marionettes from the first game. These are Finis demons. They're going to come in a couple variants as we go and progress later on in the game. But they're there to just give you a little preview of the UI, of what your combos look like, what your options are, and the style ranking system, all of which I'll get into in more depth later on. And just like that, we also have some annoying flying enemies. The Puyas, I think is how you say this name. I think the pronunciation is different if you're French or Italian, or probably it's probably different in Spanish as well. But I'm pretty sure, like, if you're going by the Italian pronunciation, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Puya. Like Giorgio Puya. Or at least that's what the internet tells me. So I'm just trying to get this red orb up here. The upgrade system works quite a bit differently in this one. I don't think we're going to be seeing that much until probably mission 3 or 4. It's disappointing, to say the least. Here we have our first secret mission, or secret room. These are just recurring things from Devil May Cry 1. They're little bonus missions. These ones I don't find are very creative. They're usually just combat arenas. In Devil May Cry 1, you found a lot of creative, unique little twists. Like where you would have to kill enemies or platform your way to something. Oh, I hope you like that noise, by the way. It sounds like the sound engine is crashing. Rapid fire, machine gun, ebony and ivory, and devil trigger. So usually you'll find these little hidden rooms scattered about. They're combat arenas, and if you complete all the waves of the arena without failing it, you'll usually get some kind of special reward, like a newly christened white orb, which replenishes your devil trigger meter, the little yellow meter below your health in the top left. Devil Trigger allows you to enter that triggered state that I was in. You gain access to a few new abilities, you gain a lot more damage, I believe you get some passive health regeneration while in that form. You move faster, you're pretty much improved all around. It's great. Devil Trigger in this game is pretty overpowered. It's outrageously strong, as are the guns in general. Here we have our second secret mission. I'm not going to do too many of these. I'm probably going to do even less than I did in the Devil May Cry 1 LP. Because, like I said, they're pretty dull in this one. They're a little bit bland. I think this thought got interrupted, but... come on, Wave 2. In Devil May Cry 1, you would usually get a cool little twist on either a platforming or a combat challenge. Like, you had to do it in a certain way, or you would have a time limit. There isn't as much of that in Devil May Cry 2, I don't think, if memory serves. If I'm wrong about that, I'll probably wind up doing a couple more secret rooms than I intended to. Every other secret room that you complete nets you a blue orb fragment, though. So it can be worthwhile to do them. Another reason why I don't intend to do that many secret rooms is that Devil May Cry 2 is pretty fucking easy. It is, dramatically less difficult than Devil May Cry 1, to the point of not really challenging you to use your abilities to their fullest. And when you couple that with the fact that your options are a lot more limited now, I don't know, it leaves a bad impression on me. What I was getting at before is that the ideal for a character action game is that you have a big heaping scoop of substance and you have a big heaping scoop of style. And usually it's that the substance will usually lead to the style. Devil May Cry 3 and 4 and Bayonetta and a handful of other really good character action games come to mind, but just to keep it within this very close family of games, Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, that you're probably most familiar with if you've been following the channel, the combat has to be flexible enough for you to get really flashy and do some really cool stuff. And you just don't have a lot of options in this game compared to the first one. You have more options at the beginning of Devil May Cry 2 than you do at the start of Devil May Cry 1, but in DMC 1, you very quickly just gain enough red orbs to really upgrade your abilities, to purchase new stuff, and you get this really good steady flow of options and new weapons, such that Devil May Cry 1 outpaces DMC 2 in terms of giving you access to new stuff and better options to style on enemies. It outpaces DMC 2 really quickly. It even has more interesting enemy types, in my opinion. Here, you just get front-loaded with some really nice returning stuff from Devil May Cry 1, the air hike, the stinger, the high time. All really essential upgrades from DMC 1 that return right off the bat. You don't have to purchase them anymore. But you also don't unlock much more. What we have right now is really what we're going to be using for the majority of the game. And combo-wise, there's some flexibility here. The system is open a little bit, but it's just... it's mashy by comparison. There's less reason and less ability to style. You could get a preview of it here. You don't actually purchase new moves for your weapons, you just upgrade the weapons themselves. Which isn't very satisfying, as we'll come to see in a little bit. Yeah, we fought these guys in the second secret room. These guys are called Mishras. They're rather aggressive, tiny-looking, almost small lichen kind of enemies. But they're pretty weak, especially to gunfire, as are most enemies in this, because ebony and ivory and most of your firearm options in this are outrageously powerful. I was trying to get some nice wall-running Helmbreaker combos going. Try to use that where I can. I'll try to do my best to vary things up here. The air combo kind of gets me. Not a big fan of that. If it was a nice, quick sword combo, it would be something else, but it's this weird flippy, kicky thing you do in the air. Just somersaults and weird shit. So I'm not exactly sure where I was going with that thought, unfortunately. But yeah, Devil May Cry 2 starts off strong enough because you have a couple of options which carry over from Devil May Cry 1. It's just that you don't get much more throughout the game, which means that the variety that you can have in your gameplay is pretty limited. As such, the ability to just style on enemies and to really break the system open, it's really diminished compared to pretty much any other Devil May Cry game. Literally any of them. Devil May Cry 1 has a more flexible combat system that's a lot more satisfying and full of variety, and there's not even a comparison to be made between this Devil May Cry 1 and then later on DMC 3 and 4, where it's just options all the time, where you're overloaded with advanced techniques and exploits that the community has found a way to work into, like, really advanced stuff, and just moves and weapons. It can be overwhelming for a lot of people, Devil May Cry 3 and 4. And then, to a lesser extent, you also have DMC Devil May Cry, which gives you a lot more options than Devil May Cry 2 and 1, but way less than 3 and 4. But what I'm getting at is your options in 2 are pretty limited by comparison to any of the other games of the series. Which, there are ways to make up for that, but Devil May Cry 2 doesn't actually do that. And I'm getting torn apart by this dude, who hit me a bunch of times and didn't do all that much damage to me. And keep in mind, these are probably the furthest from this game's many, many problems. This game has much bigger problems than what I'm talking about now. These are pie-in-the-sky problems, compared to kind of the just very basic stuff wrong with some of the later missions. And just like that, we are done with Mission 1. And we're actually going to be ending the episode here. We'll dive a little bit deeper into Devil May Cry 2 next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.